Okay, sorry, we got kicked off. Now we're back live. And now that we are back live, what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our we're going to go over to Adobe Premiere, and we're going to bring in the video, which should be in the downloads. So when I look in my downloads folder, and I have my, there it is. I'm going to cut it from there and put it in the Lecture 3 folder. And I'm going to drag that and all the pictures in. And they should show up. Should show up. Give it a second. What's it doing? It is saying that it can't do that. Okay, so there's the files, and there's the basic sequence. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the lecture into the timeline there. Oops, didn't mean to grab everything. Let me Control Z out of there. Just grab the video and drag that in. Change sequence to match the clip settings. Okay. And now, so what is that you're looking at? Can you go back to the stream, the live stream? Yeah, I'm in a new one now. All right.
They moved that way early on because of the need for energy.
Okay, so here we are, and we are actually in the video now, and we can use that reference that we had from before. Yep. All right, so we're going to start with this one, but the first thing you have to do is that's the old one, hon. First thing you have to do is lift your green track up, and I would usually lift it up to about V4, video 4, because that gives you room to put multiple things underneath, and if you want to add tracks then above it, you can add tracks above it. So I like to take the image, and this one I think I'm going to put above, but the first thing I do is I get rid of the green. And let me start with this broad image in the background, and we'll cut it up later on. That gives me a reference image for the background. I'll bring it back on track number 1, and I'll make sure it's big enough by turning off the track output viewer on this one so that disappears, and then I can come into this one while it's highlighted, click on motion, and then unclick uniform scale, and then drag this to fill up the space. Okay. Now, of course, that is obscured by Mr. Green here, so I keep saving this, always save after every move you make, or do Control S. Okay, so now I'm going to go into the video effects, and I'm going to find keying over here and go to Ultra Key and drop it right on top of this track. Find it here in the effects controls. If you get confused, you can always go to Window and Workspaces and go to the Effects workspace. You may, when you start, be in Windows, All Panels, or maybe you're in Window of Workspaces, you might be in Editing and saying where are the effects. So go up to Window here, go to Workspaces, and go to Effects. All right, now we've got Ultra Key dropped on there. That means the effect is going to show up under Effect Controls. Make sure you've clicked on Effect Controls over here. And it says no clip selected, so I got to go back and select that clip. There's Ultra Key. Grab the key color dropper and put it on the green. And lo and behold, it disappears. But watch out, it looks like my pants are also disappearing, so work with your transparency a little bit. and your pedestal, and then you're okay. Now you'll notice that the sides are still black, and they shouldn't be because we did that full image. So how do I take care of that? I need to add a crop. So go to Effects and go to Crop and grab the crop and drop it on top of the track. Then find it here, click on it, and when you've clicked on crop in the effect controls, you can control the crop and drag that crop so that the character is now magically in front of the place you want him in front of. Also, when you do that, if you go now to motion on that track, you can move the character wherever you like. Make what big? Like that? Like that? What are you seeing? Side where it's advertising other videos? Yeah. That's over here, okay, so that's a window where I'm pulling different data from. Yep. All right, so now we have.
It isn't that there weren't powerful political players.
We're going to come in here from black, so I'm going to grab actually everything. And I'm going to move it all over just a smidge. So it starts out like that. And then I'm going to go to Video Transitions. Oh, I got to get rid of crop. And I'm going to pick a dissolve. And I'm going to do just a cross dissolve from the black right at the beginning. You can hardly see it unless I zoom way in using the zoom bar here. And move everything back over.
Module 3 relational summary lecture.
I can actually move it all the way back to the beginning.
Module 3
Although I do want it to come in from black.
Module 3.
And that would mean I have to put a cross dissolve also on the background image. So they both come in simultaneously.
Module 3 relational summary lecture GSP1. Solar cities.
Now that's the name of the lecture, so let me put in here, go to the text tool, and put in solar cities. Module 3, lecture Global South Political 1. There we go. And take that text, move it box like this, grab the move tool, drag it over, and check my background. No. Aren't we still on?
It isn't that there weren't powerful political players.
That's going to come in when he says solar cities.
Relational summary lecture GS.
Actually, let that come in at the same time.
Module 3 relational summary lecture GSP.
I want to put relational summary lecture. There we go.
Module 3, Relational Summary Lecture GSP1, Solar Cities. It isn't that there weren't powerful political...
And I can resolve out of that at the end of this.
Solar Cities. It isn't that there weren't powerful political players in the South who didn't see a tantalizing path toward a solar future. Israel made...
Now, the word Israel... I also want to make sure that my audio track is up so I can see where these things come in down here. And I can mark that, add a marker there. And I'll drag in this on top. And then when I grab this track and hit motion, I can shrink that down. And we'll have it come in.
Israel made aggressive strides towards solar from the 70s on, such that today over 85% of homes and buildings have solar hot water.
That's an image I didn't get in there. I want to get a better image of that to emphasize that point. So let me go back to my and let's see, Israeli solar roofs. That one's pretty good right there. There's Tel Aviv there. And we'll keep this open in case we want to use this later on. That's a pretty good one. It's the Knesset, so let's get that one too. Knesset solar. All right. And then go back to our solar thing here and bring that in. You can go and drag it directly from a folder. So I can grab Tel Aviv solar and drag it in here. And drop Knesset solar in. So
homes and buildings have solar hot water.
That's probably good to have behind me.
Over 85% of homes and buildings have.
And then I can make it big. Get rid of uniform scale here.
Towards solar from the 70s on, such that today over 85% of homes and buildings have solar hot water.
And probably want to put a cross dissolve there.
Percent of homes and buildings have solar hot water.
That's better. And maybe I'll just dice myself up to give a little bit of variation in the look here. I'll go to the razor blade tool and cut that. And now when I come over here, I'll grab myself again, go to motion. Maybe the best place to put me is over here, maybe make myself a little bit bigger, like that. Put myself in that gap where you don't see many solar hot water heaters. There we go, so we don't cover it up.
85% of homes and buildings have solar.
But since there's a dissolve there, I need to put a dissolve here.
From here is easier than contagion tablet.
85% of homes and buildings have solar hot water, and even 85% of homes and buildings have.
And then I'm going to have to put a cross dissolve on this because it doesn't change smoothly.
Homes and
There we
buildings
go.
have solar hot water, and even massive office buildings in Tel Aviv were built decades ago with sloped.
So this is built decades ago. And we'll take this image and move it. It shows the sloping of the roof. And maybe, let's see.
Office buildings in Tel Aviv were built decades ago with.
Well, and here again,
Any dissolving?
no, not yet. So we're showing Tel Aviv, but let's then make this contrast. It's Tel Aviv, we'll do a cross dissolve here.
In Tel Aviv were built decades ago with sloped south-facing roofs to accommodate PV panels. While desert regions.
So I need to get more in there of the panels. So were built
decades ago with sloped south-facing.
Sloped south-facing is where we're going to come in. So you register that image, and then you get to this one here.
Sloped south-facing roofs to accommodate.
And then there, we definitely need to grow that. But it's probably interesting if this scales up without too much distortion. It has an old grainy look to it, which is kind of good. So I think what we'll do with this one is we'll let it come in like.
Make yourself smaller.
Make myself smaller. Yeah.
South-facing roofs to accommodate PV.
So. Well, to do that, I'll have to cut here with press the C key and you get the razor blade, and then hit the V key and you get the arrow key, and then I can click on motion and I can move myself around here.
You can stay the same place, but like it's smaller. Or it's not go down. But you moved yourself. It was a good possible.
Oh, this is pretty good like that.
South-facing roofs to accommodate PV panels, while desert regions near the red.
And then while desert doesn't have to be so.
But this is a different.
Yeah.
PV panels, while desert regions near the.
That can be a dissolve back to the desert.
While desert regions.
And then we want to get rid of that because that ended at that cut.
Sloped south-facing roofs to accommodate PV panels. South-facing roofs to accommodate PV panels, while desert regions near the Red Sea were covered.
And drop in.
Regions near the Red Sea were covered with solar panels from Arava Lake.
And
From Arava Lake.
Arava Light, we're going to put Tarek in there.
From Arava Lake.
I'll put Tarek's picture in there.
Why it's placed like this?
I haven't decided yet where to place it.
You can cover the whole floor on the side, right?
No. I just want to put in there, and then I want to put in a, what did we decide was the background? I think it was a shadow. It was a radial shadow, I think. Yeah, radial shadow. So if I grab a radial shadow and drop it on there, then I can go to that radial shadow and change the lights. Oh, what happened to my light source?
Nice.
There we go.
Put
Take my light source, change the projection distance. There, and that gives it a little relief. Maybe make it a little softer. There you go. Okay, so
from Arava light and power. They moved that way early on because of a need for energy security in the face of disruptions due to regional security in the.
now there should be an academic paper that we can reference on this. I remember reading it years ago. If not, we can use. Oh, we should probably grab this too. This is a good one. And in fact, let me go back. You didn't see what I just did there, but I wanted to grab this image. Some nice pictures in here. That one there of the Arava light and power one. So we grab that one, and then let me go back here, and
how long did you bring
oh, did I even get that image? Where is it? Panels. Yeah, aerial view, I got it. I just have to put it in.
How many minutes?
I have to do 3 minutes tonight, but I'm at about 39 seconds. Maybe I finish 1 minute and I can stop as well.
In the face of disruptions due to from Arava light and power.
That's where I actually want to change the image and grab this and make it bigger. But if I'm going to do that, then Tarek's image got to be smaller. So let's grab Tarek. Yeah, I want Tarek in there.
You put it before.
But I think I'll put him up here. That way you get the mountains, but you also get the solar panels.
Leave some of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm going to put it like that. Okay, so
From Arava light and power. They moved that way early on because of a need for energy security in the face of
so I'll put the Knesset then in for the energy security. Make that big.
in the face of disruption.
And I will put then go to my video transition and put my dissolve. So that's some more fluid.
Security in the face of disruption.
And then I have to dissolve Tarek out. So, yeah.
Security in the face of disruptions due to regional political conflict. But the rest of the region was never given such permission.
So let me find here for the rest of the region. So if we went to Middle Eastern solar potential, rays of hope, Arab states are embracing solar power. I can use The Economist.
Go down. See the other countries.
But I want the headline.
That's Africa.
That
It's
Arab states are impressing. I want to keep The Economist in here, and I want to, yeah, I want that whole bit in there. So I'm going to grab that. I don't think you can see that because I haven't transitioned over. So there's that. All right, so I'm grabbing this from The Economist. I'll grab that and Arab states. All right, so we'll get that. We'll go back to here, grab our Arab states image, drop it in.
Given such permission as but the rest of the
just another 10
region
seconds here. We'll bring that in here. We will. I can stretch it by taking off uniform scale. Maybe like that.
You can, yeah, leave a little bit of the background.
All right, so
the region was never given.
that would be a cross dissolve. I'm going to move it.
Just show some of, yeah.
I mean, I can move it right behind my arm.
Yeah, the white stuff. You don't see your arm, right?
Yeah. And I can always put in the.
That's an advantage of Premiere, right?
Yeah, no, they all do that.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to put that radial shadow in, but that radial shadow.
No, it's too.
And then make the softness here. All right, so.
The rest of the region was never given such permission as George Clooney's character observes in the political.
And then as George Clooney
observes in the
political, we'll come right on the word political. We'll grab Syriana. And we'll grab this and move it down. And because we mentioned George Clooney's name, we also want to get that picture of Clooney with the bombs, which I don't know if I picked up or not. No, in fact, I didn't get that picture. So I'm going to go back to Syriana. And find George Clooney walking with the explosion in the background. Save image as Syriana header. Go back to easy baby. Syriana header. Bring that in right on top of there.
It's too many things. Why you leave?
No, what I'm going to do. I'm not. I'm going to put it over the background and obscure the background.
Make it the background.
I am going to make it the background. So I'm going to come to here, go to motion, drag this up, take the other image of George Clooney of the movie poster, and move it in between us. No, but then you don't see the fire. Move me. No, I can move me.
Put it on.
I don't need myself, but I might as well, for consistency, keep myself, but use the razor blade, hit V, grab myself.
I mean, this is a good spot to cover.
I can put myself on the road by the car. With masking, I could put myself behind Clooney, but I can't. I want to take the time to do a mask. I think standing by the car on the road is pretty cool. Like that, right?
George Clooney's character observes in the political thriller Syriana,
and that's a good cut right there.
When the crown
Although I think I should be just slightly there.
prince of one of the rich Gulf countries is taken out by a CIA missile.
It's taken out by a CIA missile. So we're going to replace, I'm going to keep that background, and we're going to replace the Syriana image with more explosions like that.
No, you went still because
In that case, I'll put it in the background.
Fire and fire.
So I'll just keep Syriana, the movie, there, and I'll make this part here, this bombing.
Yeah, that's better.
And I have to move myself. I need to put the person in there so that actually the image of the
You're
movie,
next to it here.
the image of the movie can disappear. So we'll fade that out. Let's try a radial wipe. That
Taken
does
out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing.
radial wipe here too. Oops. Let's grab this radial wipe in there. Make a match.
Taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his country would.
And I have to make myself move during that wipe. So what I can do with myself here is I can take myself and I can make a keyframe. So I can go to scale and position, and then as this thing moves, I can move myself and let's see where I'd end up. I don't want to end up next to her. So let me go back to my keyframe. Back to my keyframe. And move myself on that keyframe to stand next to her. Let's see what that would look like. Maybe I'll be over here.
Crown prince of one of the rich Gulf countries is taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing.
So what happened to my body? Why did I disappear? Huh. Oops. Okay, I gotta control my Z out of that.
In the political thriller, Clooney's character observes in the political thriller.
So first I need to go there, and I need to set a keyframe for position and scale.
Missile shortly after.
Well, maybe I just need to move myself down. And move myself to, this goes down, let it move me down. So by the time it gets down to here, I'm down on the ground and I'm a little bit bigger, like that.
Is taken out by a CIA missile shortly after.
Oops, except that the scale gets funky really quickly, so I shouldn't have done that. Yikes. So I'd have to make my, before this comes down, I need to set a keyframe on position and scale there. Then I can move this down, the pacing of this, and go.
Is taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his.
All right, and that's about the size of that woman, but let's make sure that it's a little bit bigger.
Rich Gulf countries is taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his.
And we want to get a sound effect in here, and then I'll take a break because I think I've hit the 1 minute mark. Yeah. So I want to get this an explosion sound. So how do I do that? Well, for sound effects, you go to just type in YouTube audio library, and then you'll get that YouTube audio library, and you go to videos, playlists. No, it's not that. What am I doing wrong? Audio library. Audio library. YouTube. YouTube Studio. There it is. So you go to YouTube Studio, studio.youtube.com, and then I'm going to just put in sound effects, and I'm going to do explosion. There's one here. It's not too bad. It's awful. Oh. No, so it's probably either this one. Oh. That's subtle. I kind of like the subtle one actually, so let's download that. Make sure that we show it in the folder and drag it into our climate lecture folder. Uh-oh. There we go. And then let's go back to the scene there. And let's bring in insert. There's no insert. It's easier to just drag it from the folder. So there's a big explosion. I'm going to drop it in. You should, by the way, you should create new folders. New bin. I'll call this audio. And then bring it into this folder. Explosion. Drag that explosion into the audio track in the appropriate place.
Shortly after announcing that his country.
Okay, that was obviously not the right place. So let me drag.
When you say explosion, or after you stop talking?
No, I want it to be when the image appears. So you can see where the audio waveform starts down here. And we want to get that audio waveform, make it a little bigger. We want this audio waveform to be right on the transition.
Shortly after announcing that his
That's better.
Or maybe before.
Taken out by a CIA missile. Shortly after.
That's too late. It should be a little earlier.
Taken out by a CIA missile. Shortly after announcing.
A little bit later than that. Let me stretch this out. CIA missile, and then right on the thing.
Shortly after.
Right on here.
Is taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his country would get off of oil.
Yeah, let's bring the volume up a little bit on that.
Taken out by a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his country.
Yeah.
By a CIA missile shortly after announcing that his country would get off of oil and lead a solar revolution in the Middle East. And lead a solar revolution.
And then I'm going to take this effect and just do my typical cross dissolve.
You also could just put F of oil, you do not put a picture
of oil and lead a solar revolution in the Middle East.
Alright, So that's that first section. We've got it in 1 minute and 3 seconds, and now I'm going to take a break and have dinner and then come back. I still have 2 more minutes to do. But if you look at how long we've actually been on, we've been recording now for 40 minutes. So it takes a little less than an hour per minute when you get into the swing of things. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.